Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through the exact process that we use to scale ad accounts using Meta and Google Ads. It's the same system that we've used to scale brands to 7 and 8 figures per month in revenue. And in this video, I'm going to break it all down so you can apply it directly to your own brand. This is going to be packed with tactics, frameworks, tools we use every single day. So stick around, because whether you're running your own ads or managing them for others, there's going to be something here that helps you to scale smarter. So for part one, I'm going to do a breakdown of Meta ads. So the starting point is the audit. First thing we do is audit the account. We're looking for structure, signal strength, budget split, and wasted spend. So just going to open the ads manager. Here you'll see our ABO campaigns split by prospecting, retargeting, and retention. So highlight the naming conventions if they're disorganized. We use a custom spreadsheet to mirror the ad accounts for cleaner analysis. It helps our media buyers to see trends across creatives, not just campaigns. So the metrics we track at the ad level are hook rate, so 3-second views over impressions, the hold rate, which is 15-second views over impressions, CTR, which is the click-through rate, CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions, CPC, cost per click, cost per add to cart, cost per initiate checkout, cost per purchase, and ROAS. So step 2 is diagnosing the bottlenecks. Once we have the data, we pinpoint what's holding the account back. For example, a high hook rate and a low hold rate means a weak middle of the video storytelling. A good click-through rate but a poor ROAS usually means there's a mismatch with either the landing page or the offer. High CPM is usually either poor engagement or a limited audience pool. So here you've got a sheet of all our ad creatives. It's an example sheet, and you can see how we track all our metrics. So this ad here has a great hook rate but a low ROAS, which means it could be attracting the wrong people. It could be that there's something wrong with the landing page. It could be an AOV issue, so there could be a lot of sales coming in, but just not very expensive ones. But usually what that would mean from a creative standpoint, if the hook rate's good, but it's not translating to many sales, is that the middle of the video is weak. Maybe there's not a great CTA at the end of the video, or the hook is just attracting the wrong people. I mean, there are hooks that could attract everyone, meme style hooks and things like that, but they could just not mean that someone's going to be interested in your product. So you maybe want to use your hook to disqualify people as well, whilst really honing in on the right customer that you know is going to spend a lot of money on your store. So in terms of the overall account structure, we keep account structure simple. We have one ABO for prospecting, one for retargeting, and one for scaling. We also segment based on the funnel stage, as opposed to doing random interest stacking. In terms of bidding strategy, do not sleep on bid caps. Bid caps are amazing. If you want predictability, then these are essential. Use the cost cap if you know your target CPA and want consistent volume. Use the bid cap when you're scaling aggressively, but with specific ROI targets. We test these alongside lowest cost to see what Facebook favors with your current setup. So for the creative testing, here's how we test. We like to isolate variables. So we test with 3 different hooks with the same body. That's going to give us a pretty clear indication of which pain points are hitting the best and which hooks we should focus on for future videos. You can actually see that one of the biggest e-commerce brands, Athletic Greens, clearly use this process in their advertising. So you've got 2 identical videos over here from their ads library, which have the same identical hook, but slight tweaks to the middle of the video and the visuals. So you can tell they've done step 1, which is testing the hooks, and now they're iterating the middle of the video. Now, this is a great example of how you can reverse engineer winning ad content, because by testing these things one step at a time, you're isolating variables and then eventually getting the perfect piece of content that is most likely to convert. Then use 3 to 5 of these creatives in an ad set with the same copy. Again, isolate variables is super important. Kill losers fast, so underperforming click-through rates or hook rates in 48 to 72 hours. In terms of benchmark metrics, any hook rate of 20 to 30% is good, click-through rate of over 1.5% is very solid, and a hold rate of 10 to 15% plus. Here's a sheet we like to use to see every variable side by side and analyze every creative. In column A, you've got the hook. In column B, you've got the outcome. Column C, you've got notes. So you can see all the different columns we've got here to really analyze every part of the creative. We've got notes on the end, and we can make comments as we go, really sort of see on a clear level what is working and what isn't, and start to improve our content bit by bit. For scaling strategy, we scale what works by horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So either duplicating into new campaigns with a different angle, or vertical scaling, which is raising budgets every 48 hours or so. We use dynamic creative testing for efficient learning at scale. So for part 2, I'm going to break down how to scale with Google Ads. So first of all, again, we do the campaign audit. We open the search terms report, and we sort the campaigns by branded versus non-branded. There's a very big difference in accounts between branded and non-branded campaigns performing. One is people who are already interested in your brand searching for you, and another is you targeting customers that are generally shopping in the industry. And so you want to separate those because these are 2 extremely different customers. One is much higher up the funnel and one is much lower down and is pretty much as hot a lead as you can get. They're Googling your brand specifically. So you want to treat those metrics differently. You want to use the match types phrase, exact, and broad. So on the search terms report, you want to analyze where are the wasted terms and where negatives need to be added. For step 2, search campaigns. So the structure we use is a brand campaign. So the brand campaign, which you'd expect to have a high ROAS, defend your name. Some of your competitors will actually be bidding on your brand name keyword to try and poach your customers from you. So you really need to be defending your brand name like that. Non-brand generic keywords. So this is for scaling. Competitor campaigns, which is optional. It's obviously quite aggressive and it works in some niches really well. For step 3, we use smart bidding. If the account has 30 plus conversions per month, we almost always move to a target CPA if we're optimizing for leads or purchases. We use a target ROAS if the client has clear margin targets. If the conversion volume is low, we start with a manual CPC until we can trust the algorithm. For step 4, we use shopping or PMAX campaigns. For shopping, we fix the product feed first, the title, description, image. SEO really helps with this and with all Google ads, by the way. The more SEO you do on your page, the better your Google ads are going to perform and the more you're going to get prioritized in the bidding. Then we run standard shopping or PMAX campaigns. In PMAX, we split test groups by product category or funnel stage. So prospecting versus retargeting. And then step 5, this is the big one, attribution and tracking. This is huge because so many brands get this wrong and there's so many bad softwares out there that claim to fix this. You basically just need to set up GA4 properly, have it properly linked to everything. UTM parameters need to be consistent across platforms. We cross-compare Facebook and Google to see how both contribute to conversions. Now, there's no one right or wrong way to look at your attribution. Some people like to look at first click, some like to look at last click. In truth, you need to understand both. You really need to know where customer journeys are starting and ending because all the platforms are involved in the sales process usually. Some will find you on a broad interest ad on Facebook, then search for you on Google, and then you'll retarget them with email marketing. So technically all 3 platforms could claim the sale, but it's down to you to make sure that all those platforms are correctly tracking last click versus first click, and for you to then be able to make an informed decision on what's really leading the sale and where to double down on. You really need to be treating everything as a blended ROAS, and that's the only right way to do it. Because if you're treating everything separately with just how those platforms are tracking, they're all going to try claim the sale, and you're not actually going to know what is influencing what. You're probably going to have more reported on all the platforms than is actually showing within your Shopify. You're never going to have accurate data. You're never going to know where sales are coming from. So that last point with attribution, you really want to set up GA4, track really clearly with UTM parameters, and make sure that you track everything on an overall level as well to understand what your blended ROAS is and understand where everything is truly coming from. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a super practical look at how we run Meta and Google accounts at a high level. Take everything with a pinch of salt because everything does depend on the account. There's not one perfect secret formula. Otherwise, I always say everyone would already be doing it and someone would have made billions from that process. There's not one way to do it. You have to really reverse engineer everything and test everything properly. See what works for your business. If you want a second set of eyes on your account and you find this helpful, we do offer a free audit, which we have a waiting list for currently, but it's, I believe, the most comprehensive audit in the e-commerce space. It is a massive, fully customized 10 plus page audit, depending on how many platforms you want taken care of. There's no noise in there, like unnecessary, spreadsheets of keyword after keyword. There's no AI being used aside from obviously running stuff through AI. In terms of wording and things like that. So it's an incredibly comprehensive audit that we actually spend hours of our team's time on every single month. We do this because there's so many companies out there that promise the world with marketing, and really you just can't know. Some might come from a referral and they might have worked well for someone but might not work for you, and ultimately you need to see the work that they're going to do first. So we want to show you what we can do. As long as you're qualified for the audit and as long as we have capacity, we will make the most comprehensive audit you've ever seen, because we want to make sure that the brands we do speak to, when we put in this effort, that you see what we do, and there's then a good chance you want to work with us, and we can go from there and help you grow. So yeah, please do book in a call. It's free and the audit is free as well. Book that in using the link. You will have the finest marketing minds in the space spending hours on this and making an incredibly comprehensive audit for you, full of free value, which you can walk away with if you want or have us implement it. So yeah, highly recommend it. You've got nothing to lose. We do an incredible creative audit and you can check out samples of that on our website. But yeah, we'll audit your Meta, your Google, and your creatives and give you actionable tips you can actually implement right away yourself. So hopefully see you over there, and I hope you found value on this call.